bienvenidos a mi canal. My name is Cassie. For those of you that are new, I make videos on literally everything: makeup, vlogging, taste testing, grocery shopping. I mean, anything that I want to, I literally do. Thank you for clicking on this video. Due to the title, it's, I guess, semi-serious, serious nonetheless, but also like, I don't know. Anyways, I don't want it to be too serious. I don't want it to be a downer. I don't want it to be anything but an experience, a lesson, and kind of like just for those of you who are in the same position or have been in this position, for any of you who have been in this position before, to not feel like you're alone. So yeah, I think the title is gonna be kind of vague, probably because I don't want to just put it out there like that. I kind of want to ease you into it, but it is going to be a little bit of a serious topic. I kind of wanted to do a little story time about a situation that I've had before. I know I've mentioned in like past videos of like me being arrested and things like that. So I kind of have been tossing back and forth on making a video about this because it's not a good look. It's not something that I'm proud of 100%, but it is something that I dealt with. You know, it's not a secret. It's not something I'm hiding. It's just something I don't really talk about. But I also feel like when I was going through this, I looked to the people that I know have gone through this as well for advice, for just literally anything. And I want to be that person for anyone who's going through it as well, because it's fucking scary and it feels like your world is ending. It really does. So let's just get into it instead of me just, rambling about it. But if you're new to my channel, like I said, if you're not subscribed and you're watching this video, please consider subscribing, because if you're not subscribed, I believe that's kind of rude, but that's just me. But for sure, consider subscribing and definitely comment down below any comments. I guess I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just gonna get into it. So let's just get into it. Basically this video is going to be about the time that I was arrested and the reason I got arrested. So this happened we're in 2020. This happened in like 2014, so about 6 years ago. Did I do that math right? I think I did. 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 6 years. I'm horrible at math. Anyways, yeah, so this happened about 6 years ago. So it's old news, but lives with you for the rest of your life. So I think some of you probably already guessed what it is. But yes, I got arrested for a DUI. Yeah. And you know what? I got arrested for a DUI. You have no idea how common that is. Also, I'm drinking some wine right now, which is so fitting. But guess what? I'm home and I'm not going anywhere. But one, I want to start by saying the misconceptions of people that get arrested with DUI. You automatically, I think, are being labeled an alcoholic because it has to do with alcohol. Just because you got a DUI, that doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. Like, that's just bottom line, like, kind of common sense. You can get a DUI for literally having one beer, just depending on the weight of your body and just there's so many factors that go into it. Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there. And I'm just gonna get into it. So I'm just gonna walk you through my whole process and the day that I got arrested, and just what I had to go through, so that you are warned, okay? But anyways, I got a DUI in 14. And it was actually St. Patrick's Day. Isn't that so effing fitting? So me and my boyfriend, who is now my husband, went out to drink on St. Patrick's Day because he's Irish. So of course we have to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Before this day, I had never celebrated St. Patrick's Day. I think this was our first like St. Patty's Day together, and also the worst St. Patty's Day I've ever experienced in my life. So basically, we went out to drink. We went to this brewery that's near our home or in our hometown, and they were serving the iconic green beer, and we were like so for it. We were drinking it. I've had like maybe 2 or 3 beers there. That alone is probably already too much to be driving. But me being very uneducated about the like BCA levels and all that stuff, I didn't really think about it, and I wasn't supposed to be driving either. It was my boyfriend who was driving. So anyways, we were there for a couple hours. I didn't just drink 3 beers like in a second. Like we were there for a couple hours drinking beers or whatever. And I had work the next day. It was a Thursday, I remember. No, it was a Wednesday. And then, fact check me, you could go back to 2014. I'm pretty sure it was a Wednesday though. So then we went across the street to this other bar, and we ended up doing shots of Jameson. I think I probably did about 2 to 3 shots. I don't really remember how much I had to drink. We were just like having a good conversation. Like we were fairly new in our relationship. I think we were together for like maybe a good, you know what, actually I'm trying to think. I met him in 2014. So this was definitely 2015 when I got arrested. So 5 years ago. Sorry, I'm checking myself because before I get into, like, you know, get fact checked. So this was 2015 for sure. But anyways, we were like barely together for only like what, 5 months? Yeah, we were together for 5 months. So it was, you know, fairly new. We're talking, we're chatting, we're just talking about our relationship and all this stuff. And we were not living together at the time. So yeah, I mean, it was good vibes. It was good time. It was good vibes, good time. I don't remember what time we had to leave. I'm sure if I pulled up my citation or something, I can find it. But honestly, that's like filed away in like some cabinets that I don't want to go to. But yeah, so we leave the bar, I'm assuming closer to like 11 o'clock, midnight, which it's St. Patrick's Day. It's midnight. The cops are looking for people to pull over for DUIs. Like they're looking for them. So, you know, we walk to the car, we're cool. I look at him and I'm just like, you're wasted. Like you're completely wasted. I remember this night fully. I don't remember how much I had to drink, but I remember this night fully. Like it's crazy. I think because I had to just snap out of it. But I look at him and I'm like, no, he's like too drunk to drive. I couldn't, you know, allow that, not for me or not for anybody else. So what's the next best thing? Me. I thought I was cool. I was good. Like I can get home. It's not that far from here. Probably dumbest thing I've probably ever done in my entire life. I've done some dumb shit. This is probably the dumbest thing I've ever done. So I get in his car and, you know, like I said, it's not my car, it's his, so I'm driving it. I pull out, you know, everything's good, everything's fine. I don't seem, but obviously your judgment's super impaired, that you don't really think that you're driving bad, even if you are driving bad, or fast or swerving or whatever. We're almost about to get into the freeway entrance, which is maybe about 5 minutes away from where we were at. And I'm about to merge into the freeway and I see the cop lights. And I'm like, oh shit, like, was I speeding? Like, what's going on? Like, I had no idea why he was pulling me over. But I was thinking in my head also, I'm like, fuck, I have been drinking a lot. Like, I know that I've been drinking a lot. So I was like, shit, like, I'm in trouble. Like, I'm gonna get arrested today. Like, I knew it in my head, but I also did not want to accept it. So I ended up pulling over. Obviously, I didn't run away from the cop. And he comes to my window. I pulled into a restaurant. And every time I look there, I look at that restaurant, look at that, I'm just like almost sickened by it, because it just reminds me of such a horrible night in my life. So anyways, yeah, he pulled me over. He comes to my window and he's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, hey, you know that your registration's expired. I'm like, oh, actually, no, I didn't know that. This is not my car. This is my boyfriend's car. He's right there. And he was like, oh, okay. It smells like alcohol. Have you had anything to drink today? And my first instinct was to say no for some reason. I don't know why, but it just was. So I just said no, but he's drunk. That's why I'm driving his car. I put it at my boyfriend, and he looks at him and he's like, all right, can I see license or registration? So I'm like, okay, cool. Or obviously the registration's expired, but he wants to see that the registration's under his name. So he wants the registration. So I gave him my license, I gave him the insurance, and I gave him the registration. And we're just, you know, waiting for him or whatever. Oh, no. He asked for all that stuff, and he was like, can you step out of the car? When they ask you to step out of the car, it's most likely you're gonna get arrested, unless they literally cannot find anything. Out of all the tests they do, they can't find anything, you're not. So I just knew it. Like, I'm done for. Like, just put me in cuffs and take me. But he prolonged the torture. And he was like, so you had nothing to drink? And I'm like, well, no. I told him that I had like maybe like 2 or 3 beers. And then he was like, okay, that's why he asked me to step out of the car. And then he was like, so are you sure that's all you had to drink? And I was like, yeah, that's all. Not including the 3 shots that I had at the other bar. I was just only including the first bar. So then he had me sit down at the front of his car. And he was like, okay, well, if that's it, then we have nothing to worry about, right? And I'm like, no, not at all. And he was like, okay, we're gonna do a little bit of a sobriety test, and if you pass all of them, then you're good to go. I'm just gonna give you a ticket for the registration. I said, okay, cool. So he starts with the whole like eye situation thing, and you know, I do it. I don't know what they're looking for. I think what they look for is either like glossed over eyes, because when you are drunk, like when someone's drunk, you can see it in their face. So their eyes are like glossy and red sometimes, just depending on like how you hold alcohol. So then he was, you know, did the whole finger situation. He's like, don't move your head, but follow my finger with your eyes. So that's what I did. And then he did the whole like walk step by step, like in front of your foot, each time. Each step in front of each other, if that makes sense. So I did that. And he's like, okay, good. I mean, it looks good or whatever. And then those were the only 2 like physical ones he made me do. And he's like, okay, well, you passed those 2, but I have reason to feel that you need to blow. He goes, I need you to blow because I have reason to feel like, I don't know. I don't remember what he said, some shit like that. And I was like, fuck, like I'm fucked. I'm gonna blow over for sure. And if you don't know, in the state of California, I don't know about anywhere else, but I live in California. In the state of California, the legal limit is 0.08. Your girl blew, and you know, you're supposed to blow for a certain amount of time. It's actually a really long time that you have to blow into that stupid ass thing. And so I'm blowing, and it didn't read. And then he was like, do it again. And I was like, okay. So I blew again until I took a deep breath, then blow until he tells me to stop. And then I did it, and then it finally came back. And I'm almost embarrassed to say this, but also at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I blew 0.15. which is almost double the legal limit. Yeah. But to my defense, I will say is that I did not that this is an excuse. I'm just saying, putting it out there on the reason why I did get behind the wheel. It's because I did not feel drunk at all, like at all. Like buzzed, yes, but not like drunk to the point where I don't remember shit. And that's why I have to say that in the beginning, that I do remember everything, the whole like getting pulled over. I think the minute I saw those lights, I instantly like just sobered up. Because I was so scared. I was so scared that I was just like, oh my God. So I sobered up immediately. So anyways, yeah. And he's like, oh, well, this is your score or whatever. And he shows me and I'm like, yep, I'm going to jail. He's like, all right, well, you know what, I'm gonna have to arrest you. And I'm like, really? Like, you know, I'm just in shock still. And I was like, really? I'm like, I swear I felt good. Like, I'm trying to convince him he doesn't give a fuck. Like, he doesn't. And I'm just over here like drunk ass me trying to convince him that I'm good, We always think we're good, but we're not. Although I do have my own feelings about like the legal limit, and if I think that that's a justified number, but either way, getting behind the wheel after you've been drinking isn't the smartest decision, and you put not only your life but so many people's lives at risk. So I'm a dumbass at the end of the day for even attempting to drive, but yeah, that's it. There's no buts. So yeah, and he puts me in handcuffs and puts me in the back of his car, and I'm sobbing, like I'm crying, like if someone murdered my mother in front of me. Like I'm so scared because I have no idea what to expect. I'm not the type of person that gets arrested. I'm just not. Like, I don't do anything bad. I'm so scared of everything that I just like don't do anything bad. I try to be like good and nice to people, and although I can be a bitch sometimes, I'm not gonna do something that's gonna land me in jail. Like, I just don't do these things. So it was so scary to me. Anyways, so he puts me in the car, and my boyfriend at the time, which is my husband, I'm just gonna call my husband Josh, you guys know him already. Josh was like, you know, panicking, and he's like, what do I do? Where do I go? Like, obviously they're gonna impound his car, so he can't drive because he's drunk. So we're sitting there waiting. He was like, if you want to get her, like, you're gonna have to meet at the police station in the city that we were at. And so he leaves, I think, and he ran all the way to the police station, which was about, I don't know, I'm so bad at miles and stuff, but if I had to think, running to the police station from where we were at to the police station that he picked me up at is probably maybe like, honestly, I don't know. He'd be better, like if he was here, he'd be better to gauge it. Maybe like a 20-minute run, maybe 15-minute run. It's not that far, but it's also like not that close. I don't know how else to gauge it. Like, I really just don't. But okay, anyways, so he leaves, and I'm just sitting there in the car, and I'm just crying. And then the cops in the front, they're sitting together, and we're just waiting for the tow truck to get there because they have to wait for the tow truck to make sure no one like messes with the car and stuff. And the tow truck finally got there, but the two cops were in the front because you always have a partner. And they were like laughing, and I'm like, stop laughing at me. And I'm just like yelling at them. And they're like, we're not laughing at you. Like, I'm sorry, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing at something else, blah, blah, blah stuff. Honestly, I don't remember what they were laughing at, but I just remember saying that. And I'm like, where do I get off telling these cops to like stop laughing at me? But anyway, so they finally pick up the car, and we finally leave. And we go to the police station, and we drive in. They open like this garage, and we drive in, and the garage closes, and they pull me out, and they take me into this like room, like a little like hallway room, cubby situation. There's like cubbies and stuff with people shit in there. And he's like, okay, like, we're gonna have to pat you down, search you, make sure you don't have any any weapons, I guess, or anything on me that's like paraphernalia or any shit like that. So he's like, makes me take my shoes off, and he's like, okay, well, follow me. And I'm like barefoot with my shoes, carrying my jacket. and we walked to this interrogation room, and he basically just reads me my rights. And he's like, you understand? I was like, yeah, we're being filmed by this like huge ass camera in the corner. And then he's like, okay, well, we're gonna put you in the holding cell, and we'll see what happens from there. So then from the holding cell, I was in there for by myself in like this little room. It looks not, at least for me, it looked nothing like a actual cell. It was like this little room. It was a cement room, but the door was made out of glass. It was kind of weird. So he put me in there by myself, and then this lady came and grabbed me, took me into another room, took my mug shot. I would say my total time of being in the like holding cell, I would say, not jail at all, in my opinion. I didn't get like a meal or anything, but in the holding cell, I think I was there for a total of like 30 minutes, including the interrogation, including the mugshot taking and all that stuff. So, oh my God, this sounds so bad. It's so incriminating, but whatever. They picked me up, they released me within 30 minutes of being there, because I guess, I don't know why, because I know people that have different stories where they were left in there till they were sober. I was released almost immediately. So it was kind of weird. I thank God for it, because I don't know, like I would obviously have a different experience if I stayed there all day. There was a lot of questionable people, but luckily I was by myself. But I got picked up by my cousin, and I literally was sobbing the whole way. I just could not fathom what had happened, and I could not like grasp it. I'm like, did I just get her? Like, did this just happen? Like, did this just happen? I'm just not, you know, it's not hitting me all the way. So anyways, I make it home. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. I make it home. My cousin drops me off at my house, and I say bye to her. I say bye to Josh, and he gets dropped off at his house. And I just go home, and I lay down, and I just start crying. I'm just and I'm crying because I'm like, what the hell? My life is over. My life is 100% over. Like, that's what I felt. In that moment, in that time, I just felt like, what do I have to look forward to now? I just ruined any chances of having a future, of anyone loving me, or like anyone respecting me, because they're gonna think, you know, they're gonna think the worst of me because I have been arrested. I have to go to work. I go to work, and I go to work, I start work at 7 a.m. and I'm just thinking of everything that happened the night before. Luckily, I made it to work, because if I was in a no call, no show, I probably would have gotten written up. I don't think I would have gotten fired, but I definitely would have gotten written up. But I made it to work. It was 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm just sitting there like, out of it. I don't know what to think at this moment, because I'm just in a fog of what the fuck just happened. I don't tell anyone anything. People can tell that I'm kind of like in my own little zone. I get off of work, and Josh actually picks me up in his, I think, dad's truck or something like that. And we figure out that, okay, we need to go take his car to impound it. Thank God, not thank God that I got arrested, but thank God that it happened on a weekday, because if it happened on a weekend, impounds are not open on the weekends. So you would have to wait for, say it's happened Saturday, you would have to wait till Monday, and they're charging you for every single day that the car is in there. Luckily, it was only overnight, so we went there right after work, and I had to pay a whopping $500. Obviously, I paid for it because I'm like, it wasn't his fault. I'm the one that was driving. I'm the one that put myself and his life at risk. So it's my fault, and I will pay for it. And I wasn't making any money at this time. I was a cashier at a dealership, making like $11 an hour. Like, I wasn't making no money. So that hurt. And even now, if I had to pay that right now, that would hurt. That's just money going down the drain for what? For a Uber is cheaper than that, okay? A Uber there and back is cheaper than $500 to take your car out because you wanted to drink and you wanted to drive. Just to speed up the process, because honestly, this took a year and a half for me to finally get sentenced with something. But I went to court 4 times before that. It just getting pushed back. I was gonna go in there and plead guilty to all charges. I had 3 charges to my name. It was driving under the influence, of course, lying to a cop because I told him I only had 3 beers when obviously my BAC said something totally different. And what was the other charge? There was another charge, but why can't I think of it? Was it for the reg? I think it was for the expired reg. Might have been. I don't remember, to be honest. It took about maybe like 3 to 4 times that I went to court till I finally got seen by a judge. I did get appointed a public attorney, and he had me plead no contest, which I did plead no contest, and I only got charged for the driving under the influence. And my charges were, my sentence was, I had to do 3 months of DUI school. I had to do, what was it? I believe 16 hours of community service, and I believe that's it. Oh, and my license is going to be suspended for a year. So that was amazing. Let me tell you, DUI school, not fun. You have to pay every single time you go there. I think I paid a total of, I want to say like $800 for a 3-month school. And if they have 6-month school, they have 12-month school, it's once a week, and you have to go and you just literally talk. People are talking about their experiences. Sometimes the teacher makes you, or the instructor makes you talk. Sometimes they just tell you why it's bad to drink and drive, like all this shit. So, I mean, shit that you know, but they're torturing you. They're doing it on purpose. They're trying to get money out of you, for one. They know that you know, but you obviously don't know enough to not do it, you know? So then I did community service for 2 days. I literally pulled weeds. I've never in my life pulled weeds, and I never want to. After this experience, it was the worst community service of my life. So yeah, that's literally my story. I mean, I felt like my life was over when I was going through this, but 5 years later, like they always say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is 5 years after that incident, and honestly, I feel blessed. I feel like, honestly, truly blessed to be in the position that I am right now. I always strive for more, but my life could be so worse, like so bad, but I turned it around. I turned it for the better. And no, I do not drink and drive. No, I do not condone it. It was the dumbest thing I probably could have ever done in my entire life. And also, no, I am not an alcoholic. It is not an alcohol problem. It's a common sense problem. You have been drinking, you were having a good time. Do not fuck it up by getting behind the wheel, period. That's all it is. And you're not alone. Like, I know there's people out there that are so ashamed to talk about it, and I was one of those. I was so scared and ashamed to tell anyone. I was so scared to tell my mom, because my mom, I knew she was gonna be so disappointed. I knew she was gonna talk shit, and I knew she was gonna be so disappointed, and she was. I told her, and she literally walked away from me, and didn't talk to me for I don't even know how long. But I was like, I'm gonna give her time, because obviously I have disappointed her. She never expected this from her child, and I'm kind of like, not to toot my own horn, but I'm her like golden child. I hate to say that, it sounds so pretentious, but I'm just, you know, I'm that child to her. Like, I think she saw better things for me, and when she saw this, she was very disappointed. Never ever thought that it would be me to like do this. So she was very disappointed, I could tell, but she was also at the end, you know, very supportive, and helped me cope with some shit, because I was dealing with a lot of like depression, and like just, it sucked. It fucking sucked. it's not fun, you know, to get arrested, and it's not cool, and to have a criminal history and all that stuff. That shit's gonna stay with me for 10 years. I'm halfway through it, thank God, but it doesn't matter, you know. Like, I just wish that I can go back in time and change it, but I cannot. So I can only move on from that here. But I want to tell you, if you're going through this currently, if you know someone who's going through it and is having a hard time, like, just let them know that, hey, you're not alone. Like, there's so many, I know so many people, like maybe more than half of the people I know have one. And it's so common. It's sad that it's so common because it shouldn't be, but it is so common. So don't feel so alone. Don't feel so like you're a fuck up, which, I mean, you fucked up, but you're not a fuck up because your life is not over. You can definitely take this and learn from it and never do it again and go up. You can only go up. I mean, you could go down, but just go up, head up, you know? And I feel like that's what I did for sure. And since then, I have yet to drive under the influence. And it's just a lesson, an expensive lesson. Oh yeah, I didn't tell you. All in all, I spent about $2,000. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot. Excuse me. It doesn't seem like a lot, but I'm done with that. It's in my past. Yeah, it's still on my record, and it's not going to be expunged till like I'm freaking, what, 5 years from now? I will be 27, 28, 29, 30, I'd be 32. So until I'm 32, this is going to be on my record, which is fine, whatever. I'm not, you know. Oh, another thing was I was on probation for 3 years. That was amazing. But yeah, it's crazy. Some people are in a worse situation than I am. You know, luckily it was just me and my husband in the car, and I didn't hurt anyone or kill anyone. It can definitely end that way for some people. You can end up killing yourself. It can go so many bad ways, and I just thank God that this was my turning point. This was my like breaking point, and like, okay, like, you didn't hurt no one, but let's not let it get to that point, you know? So, like I said, it can always be worse, but just learn from your mistakes, move on from them, and don't repeat them. That's just the bottom line. But I think that's it. You know, there's nothing really more to tell. I mean, there's details, of course, and if I left anything out, if you guys have any questions about anything, feel free to comment down below, or if you want to just privately message me, you can always follow me on Instagram, DM me there, or on Twitter, and I will be sure to reply to you and, you know, speak to you in confidence. It's totally fine. Like, I understand that this is something very personal. I obviously agreed to share, and if that's not your choice, then that's not your choice. Like, you know, I will never force anyone to do that. So with that being said, this is one of my more serious videos. I tried not to make it as serious by drinking some wine. I didn't finish my wine, and kind of like making it a little lighthearted, but you know, it is what it is. It's a serious situation at the end of the day, and I know people have lost brothers, sisters, children to drunk drivers, so it's not fun. It's not a fun topic. It's a very touchy topic, so I just wanted to give my experience. But yeah, again, thank you so much for making it this far in the video. I really do appreciate it. Like this video if you guys find it very informational. Like I said, if you have any comments or questions, y'all know where to find me. Look in the description bar. I have a lot more information there. And yeah, thank you again. And I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye.